Good evening, fastball fans, and welcome to the winter bracket semifinal here at the ISC World Tournament. We are at Softball City in beautiful Surrey, British Columbia. Blair Setford, Joe Todd on the ISC network. The New York Gremlins, the top-ranked team in the world, and the Bear Creek Express, number 4 in the rankings. This is actually, Joe, a rematch of last year's championship game. High expectations coming into this one. You've got 2 of the best pitchers in the world. You've got definitively the best hitting team in the world, and a scrappy contender here in Bear Creek, the home squad taking the field as we speak, as you get a look at some of the grounds here at wonderful, beautiful Softball City, our host this week. It's been a tremendous week so far. We're on to Thursday, started last Saturday. That is the personal jersey collection, believe it or not, of Doug Roberts, who was awarded the Denny Bruckert Dedication to the Game Award and opening ceremonies. There's the Bear Creek Express out on the field. For the New York Gremlins, we'll get a look at their batting lineup. Matthew Waugh, Eric Ochoa, Ben Anoka to lead things off for the Gremlins. Defensively, for the Bear Creek Express, Tommy Anoka in left, Jordan Pomeroy in center, Travis Jones in right. Around the horn, Tyler Paulai, David Galino, Brandon Horn, Jeff Lyons, and Sean Cleary to Ryan Boland. Joe Todd, this lineup does not look very similar to the one we saw the other night from Bear Creek. Some changes.
A lot of changes on the board today. Going to be real interesting to see the results of this, and hopefully it'll give the New York Gremlins a real contest tonight.
Well, looking forward to this one. For the Gremlins, they have been pounding out runs, Joe. Just looking at some of their scores, they've scored 33 runs in 3 games.
Just had 2 runs scored against them.
Well, both of those were solo home runs that, in the grand scheme of things, were rather meaningless other than for personal pride of the guys who hit them.
Yeah.
They gave up the 1 to Steveston Canadians on Sunday night, much to the delight of the crowd that was here. The home partisan crowd of Steveston, one of the neighborhoods in the greater Vancouver area. And they gave up a home run to Grand Prairie, but scoring runs almost by the dozen per game.
Sean Cleary and Ryan Boland have to be at the top of their game, as well as the defense of this Bear Creek Express team.
Well, it is a big step up again in weight class. We're now getting down to the sharp end of the tournament. And for Bear Creek, they knocked off the Gremlins in this game last year. Can they do the same again this year? I was just talking with Peter Labardius before we came up on air. Sean Cleary has thrown some blinders on Thursday evenings in the World Tournament to propel his team on to bigger and better things. Can he do it again here in 2024? Matthew Waugh steps in at the left side box, measures out where he wants to be, as he always does, and at the back of the box, Cleary in for a strike. This must be at bat number 798 for Matthew Waugh against Sean Cleary over the last dozen years. These guys have faced each other literally countless of times on the tournament circuit here at the ISC World Tournament and elsewhere. Teammates on the Canadian national team, but all of that is set aside when you get into the winter bracket semifinal of the ISC World Tournament. This is the one all the players play for. Everybody looks forward to this one.
The New York Gremlins are the number 1 team coming into this game, and they have a target on their back. Bear Creek Express have had an up and down year. They're looking for a great game tonight to turn things around.
Cleary, a long look in, step back, and zips in a rise ball at the top of the zone. 77 miles an hour for a rise ball. Sean will hit just into the low 80s with the drop. Not the hardest thrower in the tournament, never has been He does throw hard enough, a world-class changeup that he'll throw at any time, and look for he and Ryan Boland to double that up from time to time. It's all about location, and Joe, you coined this phrase for Sean a couple of years ago, cerebral, always thinking ahead. It's not this pitch, it's the next one. There's the changeup, and it's well up in the zone. Matthew Wass swings underneath it, and he'll go back to the bench thinking about that one. The changeup from Cleary above the letters, you don't see that often.
Great call there by Ryan Boland.
Pull that out of their bag of tricks. Well, Joe, if there's anybody hotter in the world right now than Eric Ochoa, who came into this tournament winning the Triple Crown at the U.S. Nationals. The other day, 2 home runs, including a grand slam, 6 RBIs. But again, we're stepping up in weight class tonight. A changeup, doubled up. 1 to Waugh, 1 here to open to Ochoa. And you're going to have to keep this hard-hitting team off balance all night long. I would look for that to be a real part of the arsenal. And then maybe put it away for a couple of innings and let them stew about it.
Yeah, let them think. Exactly. He's got a great drop ball, and he uses that a lot too.
That one off speed. 59 miles an hour on the corner. So 3 off-speed pitches in a row from Cleary and Boland, and that's a different start again from these two. Four in a row.
Well, they usually go in and they discuss a game plan before the game. This was obviously on the agenda.
Jeff Lyons down at third base, or first base rather. At third, it is Tyler Pauli. That's one of the changes, 2 of the changes actually. Jason Hill goes to the bench. Riley James to the bench. Middle infield is the same, Galino and Horn. Cleary, as always, very deliberate. Lace down the right field line. That's going to get all the way to the wall. Ochoa is going to step on 1 and up to 2 and be satisfied with a hard hit double. Oh boy, did he lace that down the right field line.
Good quick hands coming through with that ball. Good quick bat. Level swing.
That ball was smoked. Ben Anoka to the dish. 6-6-7 for Ben Anoka. 6 for 9 through the tournament so far. 4 singles, a home run, 5 RBIs. The home run was a grand slam. He's now tied with Steve Price for most grand slams in ISC World Tournament history with 3. 2 of those in the last 12 months because he had one a year ago.
Ben Anoka playing against his brother, Tom Anoka, who's out in left field tonight.
Yeah, it's usually Janet Boland who has to worry about those things with the brothers Ryan and Shane. But tonight, Ben and Thomas. Duncan Anoka back in Auckland, not knowing who to cheer for. I guess you cheer for everybody.
Mom's cheering for Ben and Dad's cheering for Thomas.
You have that on a reliable source, do you? Called a strike on the outside corner. Over the years, Ben Anoka has had a fair bit of success against Cleary. When I talked to Ryan Boland, this is the one guy that they do have trouble figuring out what to do with Ben Anoka.
True professional hitter.
2-time ISC MVP. 1 ball, 2 strikes as Benanoka looks at that inside drop ball for ball 1.
Anoka at the very back of the box.
Well, you could put that on a loop for just about everybody, I think. Not too many people up at the front. In fact, I'm surprised Benny's in the box. They haven't erased the line yet. It'll be gone shortly. Skipped in, off speed. And clearly this was a big part of the conversation, Joe, ahead of time, the pitchers and catchers meeting with the coaching staff. Let's change the speeds on these guys. Don't just rely on the hard stuff.
Throw off their timing.
Well, you saw what happened. They came in hard to Inoka, and he ripped it down the line. Ochoa. Upstairs from 0-2 to 3-2.
Also trying to throw off any potential sequencing they might have done in the past and try and stay something different, show something different tonight between Cleary and Boland.
Well, it's the off-speed, Joe, that they've clearly determined that they're going to go with. That was another changeup. And I think you've hit the nail right on the head to throw off the timing. They've seen Sean enough to know that he's in the high 70s, low 80s with the hard stuff.
And they'll stay like that as long as it stays close.
Well, if you can get away with it, why not? And here's the first conversation around the signs. Who's our home plate umpire tonight, Joe?
We'll do the whole umpire package. Eric Bodden from Las Vegas, Nevada on the plate. At first base is Trevor Topping from Kitchener, Ontario. And at third base is Steve Gallagher from Cobourg, Ontario.
A fine crew. So 3-2. An early battle between Benanoka, the 3-batter, and Sean Cleary, the erstwhile teammates. Ball 4. Advantage to Benanoka and the Gremlins here in the first. And Joe, a year ago, Bear Creek Express were holding a 1-0 lead in the 4th inning. Into the top of the 4th, and Cole Evans pounced on a changeup and hit it into the trees at Circle Tap and got the Gremlins back into that game, tied at 1 at that point, and they would go on to win 6-1. Cole Evans would go on to win the ISC MVP that night, just about a year ago. Jeff Lyons is really in tight at first, now backing off.
I think he's just telling Tyler Balleye, because that sun's going to be right in his eyes when the ball's coming over, so he's asking for a low target, I think.
Yeah, and that's going to set a little bit over the diamond. You see how the shadows are from left to right, at least on our view from behind home plate. There you see it. Two 2-0 to Cole Evans, a good hitter's count for a good hitter. Went right hard after that one and fouled it straight back over the screen.
Clary's thrown a lot of pitches for the first 3 batters. Up to 19 now.
Well, he's gone full count on just about all of them, hasn't he? And this is what the Gremlins do. They wear you down. Paulai steps on the bag. Low throw to first and dug out by Jeff Lyons. Joe, you called it on the low throw to first. He actually bounced it over there. And a good play by Lyons to keep it in front of him and corral it. But they erase Eric Ochoa.
Paulai playing very deep at the bag, able to get that ball fairly cleanly.
So one of the changes in the Gremlin lineup, in fact, the only change in the Gremlin lineup, Lucio Redemar. Last year with J&B and with the fire sale at J&B or JB, Redemar come over to the Gremlins. One of the next gen, started calling them this week, Joe, the next gen of top players.
Great acquisition by the Gremlins.
Ball one just off the outside corner. Cleary, a long look in. That's about as much emotion that he will show.
Redemar's a good stick. Can put him out in the outfield. Does a great job fielding. Good wheels. Track down a ball.
And a whale of an arm. Designated player as he's listed in the lineup. And I wonder if that's because Blake Hunter doesn't have a lot of success, and I'm questioning, I'm not stating it. If Blake feels that he doesn't have a lot of success, or the coaching staff feels that Cleary's got his number.
Could be.
But it's Blake Hunter who has gone to the bench in favor of Redemar. And no egos on this Gremlins team.
Not at all. Good team.
Strike to the inside corner. Guys like Blake Hunter will go to the bench without complaint. Zenon Winters, although he's hurt here this week, they've all been in rotation for much of the last couple of years. Now, Blake Hunter did more catching this year than he did last year. Last year, he and Malherzuk did a lot of swapping in and out at second base. Again with the off speed.
I'm still trying to figure out the positioning of Jeff Lyons. He's doing that consistently, every pitch in that same position.
I think he's coming in to get the signals.
Well, he's not looking, though. I'm watching his head.
So either that or he's getting signals from Galeno.
Maybe. And then he steps back.
Yeah, he's never looking down at Ryan Boland, is he?
No.
Just off the outside corner. Full count, 2 down. So we'll see the 2 runners on the move. Beninoka out at second, Cole Evans at first.
Got to be real careful against Redemar.
Well, he flies down the line, too. Great speed.
Great bat speed, too. Better make sure you pick a corner here. Going down and in.
I'm going off speed again.
Okay.
This is where they've been the whole inning. That one was off speed, too. 61 miles an hour. That seems to be the game plan. We're going to throw as much of the soft stuff as we can and throw off the timing. And Joe, you think about not who's beat the Gremlins, because not a lot of teams have, and those that have don't have Marco Diaz. But who's given them trouble? And the only guy I can think of is Dustin Veenhoff from the Toronto Batmen,
Yep.
who one is a lefty and kind of fits that whole definition of crafty lefty, but he changes speeds and in and out, and we're going to check again on a set of signals between Cleary, Boland, and
Eric Bodden.
Eric Bodden. He's in on the secret now, too. So full count. Let's do this one more time. Top of the first inning. Gremlins, 2 runners aboard. Sean Cleary, Ryan Boland trying to work out of a spot of trouble. And fouls this one back to the screen. And again, it's off speed.
Staying with it. I guess the plan is show me that you can hit it.
Well, at some point, you've got to come in with a high rise ball. Now, you've thrown, what, 3 out of the last 4 pitches have been off speed. To me, this is prime time for something up and in and try and get them to chase.
Or Redemar will be able to read that changeup soon.
Well, it's hard stuff on the ground. Getting the wave is Ben Anoka, who stopped halfway just to see if the throw was coming, just to make it interesting. I'll stop here and see if you're going to try to throw me out. Cole Evans stops at second base. They went with the hard drop, but it was right over the plate.
Yes.
And Todd Idenaway is right out to see Sean Cleary.
Got way too much of the plate. Cleary up to 27 pitches.
Well, Todd was out very quickly with two-thirds of an inning, 2 outs. When we last saw Bear Creek the other night with Adam Folkert, and that was in the case of an injury. Sean's had an entire day and a half of rest. He threw a fair bit in the bullpen that night, but that's not quite as taxing as pitching in the game. So the Gremlins have cashed 1. Still 2 runners out there for Abelardo Penuelas. Now, he's in the lineup, and if you haven't been with us through the course of the week, Jerome Remeke had his wrist broken when he got hit by a pitch by Marco Diaz in that Saskatoon tournament playing for the New Zealand Black Sox. He's out for the rest of the season. The Gremlins went and picked up Abelardo Penuelas for a couple of tournaments that they were in, and he's worked out so well that he stayed not only in the lineup or on the team, but in the lineup, in the starting lineup.
Been a great addition.
And if you watch social media, made a brilliant catch out in right field, the full-on Superman dive to steal a base hit off of Patrick Burns the other day in the Grand Prairie game. Called strike 3, the outside corner. They work out of that jam. They give up 1. Could have been worse. A long top of the first inning. We'll go to the bottom. Bear Creek coming to the plate. Well hit, deep right field. It's curving. This one, well hit to deep right field this time, and that one is gone. Trying to put it away is Jack Bettsgrove. The New York Gremlins are world champions.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Start spreading the news, Joe Todd. It's New York, New York. Joe Todd, after a 22-minute top of the first inning, we'll go to the home half for Bear Creek. There's the batting order. Brandon Horn, Travis Jones, Tommy Anoka, the top three that we're going to see here in the bottom of the first inning. Defensively for the Gremlins, Matthew Waugh, Ben Anoka, Abelardo Penuelas across the outfield. And around the horn, Brian Avery, Cole Evans, Ladislaw Mallerzuk, Eric Ochoa at first. Jack Besgrove has pitched every inning but two for the Gremlins. Nick Mullins, per usual, behind the plate. Brandon Horn will try and get his team started against the best in the world, Jack Besgrove, 20 years old. And folks, we're going to leave you with this open shot here for a couple of minutes as Luciano Lafrano has got to run over to the second diamond and patch up a camera that got taken out by a foul ball. The perils of live TV when you're streaming two diamonds at once, but we're trying to bring you as much of the ISC World Tournament action as we can. And while we've got winners bracket semifinals going on here, we've got losers bracket action going on Diamond 2 tonight. We'll keep an eye on both of those games. One hopper to Cole Evans, snaps it over to first for the first out of the inning. Is there anybody at short, Joe, who throws the ball more technically sound than Cole Evans?
Cole Evans is smooth. The pickup of the ball, the transfer of the ball from the glove over to the arm, and the bullet.
Travis Jones had a big home run the other day to get the Express rolling.
Had a good long inning, so it'll be good for Bear Creek Express to get some offense going, give Sean Cleary a little bit of a rest.
Change up and foul back to the screen. Boy, there's a lot of lefties in this Bear Creek lineup against Jack Besgrove here tonight. That's going to be a challenge. Shadows are creeping across the diamond from the outfield. The big tall fir trees. As down on strikes goes Travis Jones, first of the night for Jack Besgrove. And just like that, in a flash, Luciano Lafrano is back. Tom Anoka, the younger brother to Ben Anoka. The middle brother, actually, Campbell Anoka, the younger brother. Campbell was over here for a couple of years, did a couple of years with the Gremlins, a year with the Hill United Chiefs, but currently not on the North American tournament circuit. Both the Anoka brothers got engaged in the off-season. Ben became a dad.
Times will be a-changing.
Yeah, it was his birthday just the other day, too.
Yes, it was.
It's always during the World Tournament. Little wobble from Besgrove on the board there. Errant pitch, and he might go adjust. Nope, just going to walk right over it.
Yeah.
Hard cut by Anoka, straight back to the screen.
The umpire's crew there, Eric Bodden from the United States at plate, Trevor Topping at first base, and Steve Gallagher both from Canada on the other corner at third.
Flared out to short right. Penuelas on the run, and he does it again. A diving catch by Abelardo Penuelas. Boy, I'm a big fan of this young man. Some fancy defense from Penuelas to steal away another base hit. Let's take a look at this one through the sunshine and the shadows.
Watch how far he came. Great shoestring catch there. Gee, that side of the inning only.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage Technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your business.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with two of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
Top of the second inning, the New York Gremlins, a 1-0 lead. Beninoka walked and scored. RBI single by Lucio Redemar. Ladislaw Mallerzuk, Brian Avery, Nick Mullins, 7, 8, 9 in the Gremlins order. Mallerzuk, hands slightly apart. And ball one in the outside corner. Now, Joe, do you switch up the pattern and go to hard stuff this inning after all kinds of off speed in the first?
I wouldn't. I would stay with that pattern until you get through the first 9.
Well, there's a change up. Mallerzuk, a pair of singles through the first couple of games. Just off the outside corner. It seems like the main core, Joe, get a couple of at-bats, and then the subs come in for the final ABs in the inning. Or in the game, rather. They've been playing, obviously, run rule shortened games. So Mallerzuk only 6 at-bats through the first 3 games. Foul ball. That's going to go out of play. One of the unnamed umpires, Joe, says that Cleary was throwing knuckleballs in Elkland. Never seen him throw it outside of warm-ups before. Hard drop ball on the outside corner. And, Joe, I like this game plan. Now you're thinking, God, he's going to throw me another changeup here. And then when he comes in with the hard stuff, that's going to look even more speedy than it normally is.
He just has to be very careful on his location. Got to keep it on the corners. Got to keep it either high out of the strike zone or low and inside.
Well, Sean's always had close to impeccable control. Very rarely do you see Sean leave one over the plate.
Cleary with 3 strikeouts so far in the game.
Change up and fouled out
Heads
of play.
Up. Great crowd has filtered in tonight.
It has. The after-work crowd has made its way to Softball City, filling up the grandstands here around from first base all the way around to third base. I'm sure the upper deck area where we are is also filling up, and then the grandstands down the outfield lines, and even a few spectators into those outfield bleachers. First time we've seen those start to fill up here this week. It's Thursday. We're getting to the sharp end, as I like to say, in the bracket. Down to the winner's bracket semifinals tonight. The winner bracket final tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific.
This is game 65 out of 72.
But I think we're doing every single one of the remaining, other than one.
Yeah.
There's a loser bracket game scheduled for 8 o'clock on Diamond 2. We won't be doing that one. I think we'll bring you all the rest. Change up again. Avery pulls this one out to David Galino. And he's just about as smooth as anybody at short, too. You talk about, and we do, we talk a lot about the quality of the shortstops in our game. These are two of the best here tonight. You've got Cam Schiller, Shane Boland, who we're going to see in the next game. I'll add the kid from Aon that we saw here the other night, who really impressed me. Guadalupe Aon with the Glowworm squad.
Okay.
He looked really good. And there's a lot of them.
Yes.
Here. Top athletes tend to gravitate to shortstop. The Ducharme kids come to mind with Ostrander.
I love the Biagini boy.
Yeah, Dante Biagini with the Kegel Black Knights. Put him in that group. Cleary opens up Mullins with a changeup. And again, I'll be curious to see, Joe, and maybe you're right, it'll be once through the order and then they'll change it up, and I suspect they'll come back to it at some point, maybe the third time through, if he gets a third time through, because I'm sure Justin Schofield will be chomping at the bit to get into this game.
He threw great the other night.
Oh, that's the best I've seen Justin Schofield throw in this tournament since the 2016 winter bracket final for the Toronto Gators against the Hill United Chiefs. He was outstanding the other night in relief against Glowworm. Came on with one out to get in the bottom of the first inning and held them down into the seventh. They got a couple in the seventh off of him. He wobbled a little but did not break and picked up a much-deserved win for the Express. Zips in on called strike three in that outside corner. Nick Mullins will just have a quiet conversation, make sure that he's going to get that call on a go-forward basis. But Cleary rings up two more, both of them looking a clean inning for Cleary and the Express. Time for the Bats to go to work against Jack Besgrove in the home half of the second.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Matiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Shortstop David Galino, Ryan Boland the catcher, and Wayne Laulu getting into the lineup as the designated player tonight for the Bear Creek Express. Laulu, a change, Joe, as they shook up the bottom part of the order. Just, I guess, felt they weren't getting any production. 6, 7, 8. David Galino has been an offensive revelation this year. We all knew how good he was defensively, and he was just good down in the 9 spot in the order. But boy, he has really stepped it up this year offensively, has added power to his game, and that stroke that he put on the ball the other night to hit it out of here, wow, that was a home run hitter's stroke. It wasn't a punch and Judy hitter who just happened to run into one. That was with purpose and intent.
And that is why Galino is batting cleanup tonight.
Well, he's been there all tournament. I mean, you go back to the start of the year, he was batting 9.
Yeah.
And he did through most of the year for the Express.
Well, if he's on a roll, I want that guy to have as many plate appearances as he can.
Absolutely. Had a good hack at that one. Toronto Batmen up 1-0 on Grand Prairie at the end of the fourth. That game's moving along. They must not have had a 22-minute top of the first. Straight back to the screen, and a good cut there by David Galino, who had a home run off of Jack Besgrove in the Thursday night affair when Bear Creek won that one last year. Jim Flanagan notes Bear Creek the only team to beat the Gremlins in 2023. They've played 3 times in 2024. The Gremlins win in Simcoe 5-0, twice in Port Huron. One of those against Pammy Madzalukwa. But the finals in Port Huron was a 2-1 walk-off win. The Gremlins had loaded the bases, and there was an error, and I do recall that game. Jim doing a great job with the Gremlins network again this year, working with our own Luciano Lafrano. Ryan Boland. Strike down at the bottom of the zone, and that just cut the plate in quarters coming in. Rise ball off the outside corner. Can't get Boland to chase out there. He's had success against a lot of lefties trying to catch up to that rise ball. And there's the good, hard drop, the staple from Jack Besgrove down and in to left-handers.
Just falls, just drops.
And a dipper on the outside corner. Not what Ryan Boland was looking for. Down on strikes. Caught looking. The third of the game for Besgrove. We're going to look at Wayne Laulu. We ran into Wayne at the airport. I know this will be a surprise to you, Joe. Wayne was quite jovial.
Yeah.
And a bear hug. Strike on that outside corner. 3 straight drop balls to the corners. 1 in, 1 out. The precision from Besgrove never leaves anything down the middle. One hopper right to the glove of Eric Ochoa, who was well positioned 12 feet behind the bag. If he was any closer, that would have been a line drive, but a one hopper, 3 unassisted, and a 3-up, 3-down inning again for Bestgrove and the Gremlins in the bottom of the second. They'll take that 1-0 lead into the third. Stay with us on the ISC Network.
Dreamcatcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Well, there you see some of the full house that we've got going on here at Softball City for the first of our 2 winners bracket semifinal games tonight. Coming up after this one, the Hill United Chiefs and the Northeast Drillers. All 4 of these teams, Joe, have really looked good and have come in on a roll. Obviously, they're undefeated. We're in the winners bracket side, but they've been all dominant. Hill with a bit of a challenge last night against Miker Pimentel, but Bradley Ezekiel, 2 batters in, banged one over the fence opposite field, and you just got the sense from there that they might figure that one out, and they did.
I always look forward to Thursday night. It's the difference between the men and the boys.
Well, it's the top 4 teams in the rankings. This is 1 and 4. Coming up, 2 versus 3, the Chiefs and the Drillers in that order. That one off the side for a ball. Joe, you go back to Simcoe, and Cleary gave up 8 hits and 5 runs in 5 innings pitched against the Gremlins. But number 1, that was the first tournament of the year for the Gremlins. Number 2, it was mid-June. It's a long time ago. There's a lot of water under the bridge since then. Waugh puts this one down, speeds to first, safe at first base. Brendan Horn in some disbelief. Cleary fielded well. He picks it up well and throws a strike to first, but you can watch. Look at Matthew Waugh dig for first base there. He came flying out of the box like a sprinter. No hesitation. Cleary throws a strike to first.
I think that.
Eric Ochoa smoked one down the line.
Trevor Topping from Kitchener, Ontario, first base umpire.
Well, if I'm Evan Fisher, I'm moving over a little closer to the fence. Evan, one of our photographers here this week, the son of Nick Fisher.
At least hide behind
Trevor. Hide behind Reese and Trevor, yeah. Reese is well out of the coach's box and just took another step back. Don't blame him at all. Not the way he hit the first one anyway. That was literally was right down the line. It was between Lions and the bag.
Second time through the order now. Did they change their pitching strategy? Will he stay with all the change-ups, off-speed stuff? Or does he start using a little bit more heat?
I think you got to mix it in still, but yeah, I think you now tilt it the other way and came with the high rise ball there. I think you do have to tilt it the other way because it's going to be in their back of their mind. You still have to show that pitch, and I'm sure that this was all discussed, and clearly it was discussed ahead of time. And how do you change the mix throughout the game? Straight back to the screen. Because I'll be honest with you, when they come with the hard stuff, they're not missing it.
No.
The 3 hits have all been against the hard stuff.
You got to pick corners with that hard stuff. Can't make a mistake down the middle.
There's the changeup to just off the corner. Ball 4 to Eric Ochoa. A great eye at the plate, too. And Joe, often power hitters don't have the best of eye and will also strike out a lot. Not so with Eric Ochoa.
No, he's one of the better batters that really make the pitcher work.
So a bunt single, a walk, and again, the Gremlins, 2 runners aboard. They had a clean second inning, but are going to have to do some work here in the third.
No one out. Going to play some small ball or going to give green light to?
Oh, I'm swinging away.
Okay.
Every time. With my 3 batter,
yeah.
Every time. Especially with a guy who's had some success against Cleary.
With the wheels of Matthew Waugh, it'll easily score when that ball touches the grass.
And honestly, Greg Leather, the coach for the Gremlins, who's down in that third base box, not a big believer, especially early in the game, of burning outs on bunts.
Yeah, he's told me.
You've probably heard it from Greg directly. The shadows have just about filled the entire infield now at this point. Almost 7:15. Anoka lines this one into the stands. On a line, Ben Anoka jumped all over that. Hard offering from Sean Cleary, and it's been the hard stuff, Joe, that they haven't missed a beat.
Cleary must have got a lot of plate there. Anoka hit a rope. That was a clothesline. It got out of here in about 3 or 4 seconds. A long power hit. 3 RBIs now for Ben Anoka. Still no one out here in the top of the 3rd inning. Cleary up to 54 pitches just in the 3rd inning.
Well, no sign of any activity just yet in the Bear Creek bullpen, but it does look like there's some stirring in the dugout. Evans laces this one down the line, just foul down the right side by about 2.5 feet. The breadth of coverage that guys like Ben Anoka and Cole Evans and Eric Ochoa get with their bat control. They can hit the ball out from corner to corner. Ben Anoka pulled that one to left center, but his power alley normally is right center. Eric Ochoa, I've seen him hit moonshots to the opposite side.
But the first left the bat, I didn't think it was going to go out, and it just kept going and going and going.
It was going up the whole way. It was still going up when it hit the back of the bleachers. 2-1 to Cole Evans.
Cleary trying to work that inside part of the plate on Evans.
And Joe, this isn't a Tuesday night league pitcher that they're beating up on. This is one of the top 10 guys in the world, top 5 guys in the world. They're making him work for every pitch. An upstairs ball 4. That's the second walk of the inning. You can go 2 tournaments with Sean not walking more than 2 or 3 guys. He's got 3 walks already in the game. And here's Todd Idenaway, and they just got Adam Folkert up. Now, we saw Adam the other night. He came out of the game, suspected groin injury, the way that he was limping through the handshake line. And he had really, Joe, I went back and I looked at the video. His jump had really shortened up. And that, I've seen that before with Adam, and as it turned out, he had a groin injury then too. So I'm wondering how healthy he is.
Well, I'm sure the therapist has worked on him.
So Lucio Redemar, he has the game's other RBI. In for a strike. And that's a lot of confidence too, Joe. You're not a rookie, but you are in your first year with the Gremlins, and you just get thrown into the 5 spot in the order. Not batting 9, you're batting 5.
Redemar has earned that. Played well all year.
He absolutely has. You're absolutely right that, and it's not just been garbage time that he's got.
No.
He has played a lot of meaningful games and innings for the Gremlins over the course of the tournament circuit summer.
A lot of clutch hits.
And this is the next generation of Argentina players. This one is smoked to right center over the grandstands. Lucio Redemar add 2 more RBIs to his total, add 2 more runs to the Gremlin total, and the route is well and truly on.
Redemar got all of that ball and drove it hard. Got square on the barrel. Over that bleacher. Back into the woods. Still no one out.
Well, that will be it, too, for Sean Cleary. Here comes Todd Idenaway back out. It'll be Adam Folkert to come on in relief. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back after Adam's warm-up pitches.
Sometimes people worry about asking for help because there can be a stigma around mental health problems.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
They might believe that asking for help means admitting that something's wrong.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Some people worry about how others might see them.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Asking for help means that you want to make changes and take the first steps towards better mental health.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
We should celebrate the courage it takes to speak up and make changes.
Trust your teammates. Trust your teammates.
Getting help is part of recovery.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Mental health isn't something you need to keep to yourself. Talk to a friend. Trust your teammates. You're not alone.
Trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
The first steps may be the toughest, but knowing where to look for help is a good start. community mental health organizations like the Canadian Mental Health Association or Mental Health America offer resources and programs that can help you. Visit cmha.ca or mentalhealthamerica.net to find a branch in your community.
And remember,
trust your teammates.
Trust your teammates.
Abelardo Penuelas will be the first batter to face Adam Folkert. Adam struggled in 2/3 of an inning the other night against Glowworm. First pitch swinging, David Galino snatches that one up. And temporarily, at least, Joe, staunched the bleeding.
Yes. So key to get that first out of the inning.
Ladislav Malor-Zook caught looking, leading off the second inning. Already getting a return visit, albeit now against Adam Folkert. But, Joe, watch the put. He's not pushing at all off the board. That's not anywhere near vintage Adam Folkert form. He's not 100%.
No.
Skips that one in.
Pitching line for Sean Cleary. 2 innings, 6 runs, 5 hits, 3 strikeouts, and 3 walks.
The walks really stand out for me there, Joe. That's not Sean Cleary, who's usually got exceptional control. It was interesting. It was an interesting attempt with the off-speed stuff to try and keep the Gremlins off track. This one is laced by Malor-Zook deep into the night sky. And I think this one is not going to be long here tonight, Joe.
No.
Folkert is not at his best. This is not at all representative of what he can do. Clearly not healthy, and the Gremlins are just teeing off.
And now just the fact that there's no use putting Schofield in now. You're saving him for more games.
So somebody will ask, can you not use Colin Walsh? The answer is no, you can't. You are allowed 3 pitchers in ISC World Tournament play. Cleary, Folkert, and Schofield have all pitched. Some question about, obviously there's questions about the health of Adam Folkert. And I guarantee you he is gritting his teeth through this right now. He's not enjoying this for a single second.
No. He's a competitor. He's going to do whatever it takes to help his team because he knows they're in a crunch position right now.
Brian Avery at the plate, and Joe, the next time through, I would expect to see some of the benches start to get emptied in terms of the pinch hitters coming along. Coming up, it'll be Marco Diaz and Huemo Mata as Avery returns to the bench. You see, can't get that rise ball. Nick Mullins, the 9th batter to come to the plate this inning, the 9th man in the Gremlins order.
Blair, you had talked about the walks and just how usually not on Sean Cleary's work efforts. All 3 of those walks scored. Come back to haunt him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just not a vintage Cleary outing. Interesting strategy. It actually seemed to be working to a degree.
Yeah.
But if you can't get the hard stuff by them,
yeah, You stay with the numbers.
Well, you can't throw change-ups every pitch. Then it's not a change-up. Nick Mullins goes up into his eyes and smacks that one right back up the middle for a base hit. He joins the hit parade. So Matthew Waugh, his second at bat, got it started with an infield bunt single. Was he safe or was he out? It's really academic at this point. Going to need the lights on here in a couple of moments, Joe. That sun is going to reach the tree line in the not too distant future. Called a strike, top of the zone, right at the letters. Matthew Waugh nods in agreement. 10th batter of the inning for the Gremlins. Hard hit right back up the middle. Station to station as Avery just up to second base at a trot. The Gremlins well aware of the situation, too.
Yes.
That doesn't mean they're not going to swing away.
Oh, no.
It doesn't mean they're not going to play the game, but don't look for them to take extra bases. Don't look for them to certainly bunt, steal, or anything like that. You take the game as it's given to you.
You don't want to develop any bad habits in this kind of game.
And that's
chasing bad pitches.
That's absolutely key, too. And we talked about that the other night in these types of situations. Now, it's a little bit different when it is an ISC2 team taking a crack at one of the top teams. And both teams are playing for different outcomes. You see Adam looking at the wristband on his left wrist. This started with the Australian national team. And they go to the wristband when there's runners out at second base. They don't have to worry about flashing signs. They put down some signs, but it doesn't mean 2 as a drop ball on the inside location. It means 2, 3 on a matrix or a grid. Adam looks at the grid, and it means drop ball or rise ball on the outside corner, inside corner, whatever it fits in the matrix. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 runners aboard. 6 runs already in for the Gremlins here this inning on a batch of home runs. Eric Ochoa laces this one through the left side. Sliding in Brian Avery for the 8th run for the Gremlins. Gives an RBI. Sorry, that wasn't Avery. That was Mullen. Well, sorry.
No, it was
Again,
Avery.
it was Avery running for
you were
Mullins.
Correct.
Yes,
you
I
were
knew
correct.
I saw Avery's name there, but it was not him in the book.
You were correct all along.
Yes, yes. That was Avery running for Nick Mullins on the 2-out catcher replacement rule. Second guess myself completely. Matthew Waugh up to second. Ochoa picks up another RBI. And Joe, the other game, Toronto Batmen, 6-1 out in front of Grand Prairie. That's the annual Toronto Batmen Grand Prairie Pirates game here at the ISC World Tournament. Those two almost seemingly inevitably end up playing around this time in the tournament. Sometimes Toronto wins, sometimes Grand Prairie wins. It just depends on the year. I think maybe it's even years Toronto wins, odd years Grand Prairie wins. Ran into Pat Burns, went over to talk to him after that catch earlier today, saving the Fargo game. That's off the foot of Benanoka and foul. And he said, yep, great, now we get to have our annual game with the Batmen.
Riley Mannion now pitching for Grand Prairie. Liam Potts started the game.
Two balls, two strikes. Again, this time now to Ben Inoka. A walk and then a 3-run home run. David Galino, the glove flip to Brandon Horn. The Gremlins score 7 in an exceptionally long top of the third inning. They send 12 guys to the plate. I think they've done enough, Joe.
Yes.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with two of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your
Tyler Pauli, Jeff Lyons, Jordan Pomeroy. 7-8-9 for Bear Creek. It's hard, Joe, in these games for the teams on the receiving end. You want to be competitive in these games. All the players are ultra competitive. They know that they can beat this team, but they've got to do every single thing right. And they've also got to hope for some mistakes from the other side. None of that has happened tonight.
No. Just was not their night.
Nine hits for the Gremlins, 8 runs. Swing and a miss by Pauli. Just can't catch up to that drop ball, that outside corner. It is money for Jack Besgrove right now. Lions has had a good season for Bear Creek, amongst their better hitters on a team that struggled a lot this year. At times they looked like they were going to break out, Joe, and then just didn't quite happen. Yeah. I thought maybe they looked really good. Honestly, they did look very, very good their last couple of games, and I was really impressed with the way they were swinging the bats. But this Gremlins juggernaut that they've run into here tonight is real tough.
Besgrove working in the third inning, just throwing 30 pitches. Very economical evening for him.
Called a strike. Joe, while we got a chance, I just want to say hi to Jim Peters. Just turned 80 last week. Big sports fan. Discovered this softball streaming service, and Terry Bader says hello. Our good friend, Jim Peters.
Thank you, Jim, for tuning in.
Jeff Lyons swings and misses over the top, down on strikes. 5 now for Bestgrove with 2 down here in just the bottom of the third. And that's actually a little low rise ball. We see it on the replay here on the big screen.
And for him to locate that pitch, that's got to be tough.
Well, that's right on the outside corner. And like we said, there's a lot of lefties in this lineup for Bear Creek. And loading up on lefties, knowing you're going to face Jack Bestgrove. And there's a changeup from Jack Bestgrove, just cuz. 53 miles an hour.
And about 44 feet.
Pomeroy's had a little bit of success off of Bestgrove over the years. A couple of home runs last year against him in this very game on Thursday night, and leading off the bottom of the first inning in the championship game, gave Bear Creek the lead for about 3 innings worth. Right past a sliding Cole Evans, and it's Jordan Pomeroy who breaks up the perfect game.
Good punch there by Pomeroy. Right up the middle. Cole Evans thought he might have had a chance at it, but just took a little bit of a skip there.
So after 2 strikeouts, Pomeroy singles, and then we'll go back to the top of the shop for Brandon Horn. Horn grounded out to Cole Evans leading off the first. And a chops at that offering from Bestgrove. And right back up the middle, Brandon Horn, back-to-back singles. Pomeroy's going to go coast to coast. And Joe, glad to see that the Express are not just going to go quietly. I'm glad they're going to show some fight here.
Good punch there by Horn. Back-to-back singles put on the board. Pomeroy and Horn. See if they can bring in this first run now. Travis Jones now at the plate. His second time.
Kyle Bean. Chris Kiefel says hello. Chris has been located right in front. I think he'd be sick of listening to us by now. He's been right in front of us all week long.
Had a complete Aussie group, really.
Yeah, well, they came up for Jeff Goolagong's Hall of Fame induction ceremony. They've had a top row seat to some top-notch fastball all week long. Such a great facility here, Softball City. Big cut by Travis Jones, comes up empty. They break up the perfecto, a couple of runners stranded by the Express in the bottom of the third. This Gremlins offense coming back up in the fourth. They've already got 8. What's next?
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to take their game to a dangerous level. Visit our store at 2200 Amsterdam Avenue in New York City or see us online at peligrosportsnyc.com. Thanks to Jose and Peligro Sports for their support of the broadcast program.
Dallas Cornelius is in defensively for Bear Creek. Cole Evans at the dish for the Gremlins. I'm just looking to see if there's any other defensive changes. I think that's the only one that I see. Evans, Redemar, and Penuelas for the Gremlins. And skipped in by Folkert, and welcome to the game, Dallas Cornelius. Here's a 44.5-footer for you. Not on purpose, I'm sure. Adam visually struggling. For those who have been with us over the years, you know the push that Adam gets off the board. It's not that. This one is smoked by Cole Evans, a solo bomb for the captain of the New Zealand Black Sox. He tees off.
And you run the bases like I do. I like how he runs the bases on a home run.
Yeah, he puts his head down, and he didn't waste any time watching it. There was no bat flip.
No.
You've got to realize the score, too,
yes.
right? There's a time, and I'm okay with all that stuff at the right time and place.
Yeah.
When you're up 9-0 against one of the all-time greats who's clearly hurt, you show some respect.
Yeah.
And Cole Evans just showed how it's done.
Yeah.
Kudos to him. Lucio Redemar has a 2-run home run in the game and an RBI single as well. 3 ribbies on the night.
Redemar just willing to take a walk. Folkert coming back with a strike down the middle. 3-1 count now to Redemar. Folkert with the pitch and release, missing on the outside part of the plate. Redemar on base now.
Well, Luciano's back. We got Diamond 2 back up and operating. That's where the Toronto Batmen are taking on the Grand Prairie Pirates. We'll get you a score update. You can always follow along on Game Changer. And we've got a second video channel up and operating. As long as somebody doesn't unplug the camera to try and charge their phone, as what happened earlier today. We were thrilled to learn about that, let me tell you. 6-1, still the end of the 6th inning. The Batmen out in front. Just off the inside corner, and you'd like to think you might get that corner in a 9-0 ball game.
I would think so, yeah. And spread that thing out.
That one was right down the middle, split the uprights. Three and two.
Penuelas will be right on this pitch now. We'll see.
And Penuelas laces this one out to left. Anoka picks that up on a line. Strong throw into third. And Tyler Paulai kind of brings the glove down, crashing onto the head of Lucio Redemar, trying to make the catch. I mean, the ball was literally coming right over his shoulder. You'll see it on the replay here. The play at third is Anoka makes a throw to third and, well, trying to reach across. He tried to reach right through the head of the sliding Redemar. Penuelas went up to second on the throw. Give him a single. And Ladislav Maler-Zuk, who made a ball disappear into straightaway center field, his last at bat. The run-ahead rule is 15 after 3, 12 after 4, and then 7 after 5. That will change next year. And this one will get us to the 12 mark. That one is spanked and goes into the trees again in center field. Ladislav Maler-Zuk certainly having an afternoon, or an evening, I guess we're in now. A solo shot and a 3-run bomb here gets us to the 12 mark. Brandon Horn in to have a conversation with Adam Folkert. Todd Idenaway is slowly making his way out to the board, and they have asked Adam to absorb an awful lot here.
And a team guy, he will do whatever it takes to help the team.
Well, Ryan Bolin went down to the bullpen.
Yeah.
Riley James went out there to protect, but unless it's the invisible man who's pitching, I don't know who is down there to warm up. It's either Schofield or Cleary. They can't use anybody else, and I haven't seen anybody else come out of the dugout.
It's a decoy.
Avery punches this one out to deep right field. Back to the corner. Can't get it. In the corner is Jones. It ricochets off the fence. And Brian Avery with a booming double to right field to continue this attack.
Real tough inning here.
Well, Todd Idenaway is in the doorway of the dugout. He's at the top step, and time's been called, and he's going to call the umpire over first. And now they're going to go check to see on
injury
Adam
potential.
Folkert if this is an injury situation. It's Sean Cleary who's going down to go re-warm up for the Bear Creek Express. And Adam Folkert has done everything that he's been asked to do. And honestly, Adam deserves a round of applause as he comes off, because he's clearly hurt. Yeah. He went out there to take one for the team, and he took it on the chin.
Yes.
We'll take a break as Sean Cleary will make the walk in and get re-warmed up. The Gremlins running away with this one.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Medios. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
For the best Bear Tent banter on the airwaves, listen to Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly. Here's some of the biggest stars chatting with two of Newfoundland's own, Jason Hill and Steve Mullally. It's unfiltered and uncensored. Dust Up with Hilly and Lolly, wherever you get your podcasts. Yes, bye.
So Sean Cleary back in a conversation with Chris Kiefel and others here in the booth. And, I mean, Adam Folker clearly put up his hand and said, I'll go take one for the team.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't have had to have done that.
No.
That was
just not necessary.
No, it was not necessary. And for somebody of Adam's stature and everything that he has accomplished, to go out and absorb that is just not on in my book.
No.
And I know why he did it. I know why he did it, because
Yeah.
Adam is a great team guy. He's a great teammate. Drilled by Nick Mullins. One hops the fence. Brian Avery will come around, and it will be 13. They had 13 on the board before the break, and it is 13 now as Avery scores on the double by Nick Mullins. Take that ball out of play. It's probably been hit
too hard.
Matthew Waugh with his fourth at bat here in the fourth inning. Joe, we haven't seen them go to the bench. I thought they would have gone to the bench this inning, but nope. Waugh punches this out down the left field line, just falls foul. Kuba Osichka down warming up in the bullpen for the New York Gremlins. I would imagine he would be coming out for what's left of this one if the Gremlins ever get out of the top of this inning.
Give him some work, so give him some innings. Never know when he'll be called upon.
Called strike three. Matthew Waugh looks at a knuckleball, I think that was, from Sean Cleary. Downstairs from Cleary. (7-1). I see Toronto Batmen. They're in the bottom of the seventh. Grand Prairie, last call for the Pirates. Eric Ochoa launches this one. That's into the parking lot. Well, we need to turn that noisemaker off at this point. There's no call for that anymore.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the balls leave the yard, we need your help in getting them back in. So thank you for doing that.
A pair of 7s on the scoreboard. You don't often see that.
No, not at this level.
Ben Anoka.
Not on the Thursday night of the World Tournament.
Strike on the outside corner.
Ty Sebastian's thrown that complete game, 113 pitches. In that Batman Grand Prairie game.
Only 90 more to go to get to where he was last September.
That was what, 14 innings? 15?
They won that in the bottom of the 15th, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it was 15.
Yeah. Drilled back up the middle. Nine guys have come to the plate here in the fourth. Nobody's taken their foot off the gas here tonight, apparently.
No.
Two and 0. That's a final 7-1 for the Batmen. They will advance to Friday. This one is up in behind us, and it's going to scatter the crowd like 10 pins. I can see the reflection in the window. Somebody managed to catch it on the hop.
Sebastian struck out 17 batters that game.
To go with the 20 that he struck out the other night.
A few pitching records you'll have to update this time when you do the guide.
I've been making notes. There's a bunch of guys who are going to make the guide here in this game, too. Seems like that's what everybody is aiming for in this one. Three and 1 to Cole Evans. Bedanoka's out at first. Lucio Redemar on deck. There's a called strike. Knuckleball inside, ball 4 to Cole Evans. Redemar, an RBI single in the first, 2-run home run in the third. Here in the fourth, he's walked and scored. 11th man to the plate this inning. On the outside corner, strike 1. Joe, the sun has gone down behind the trees, but I would imagine if you were out down by White Rock on the water, it would be a stunning sunset tonight. Just a glorious, beautiful day here at Softball City in Surrey, BC, the 78th annual ISC World Tournament. First time to visit Western Canada since 1997 when we were at Royal Athletic Park in Victoria over on the island. That facility sadly no longer there, or certainly at least not used for fastball.
We have been graced with impeccable weather all week. Just outstanding.
And they were having some hotter weather here the week before we got here. It was warm, not uncomfortable, but it was warm when we got here on Friday. 27, 28 degrees. It's cooled down to be low 20s just about every day. It's brisk in the evenings.
Players love it, I'm sure.
They absolutely do, because nobody wants to be out there in a heat wave where it's into the 30s. There's a knuckleball from Cleary. They're going to have to let that one go foul, and that's the best idea from Jeff Lyons. They weren't going to get Redemar on that. Joe, we can hope for a good one in the nightcap. The Hill United Chiefs and the Northeast Drillers, Marco Diaz, Huemo Mata. No real surprises in either lineup other than Piplo Lopez, that designated player for the Chiefs. He was in the lineup last night against JB. Josh McGovern not in the lineup. That's about the only maybe minor surprise. Galino dives for it, can't come up with it, and Ben Anoka, at least, decides not to get the extra base. Credit to Benny. Abelardo Penuelas singled earlier this inning. Came around to score on one of the home runs by Ladislav Malarczuk that he's had tonight.
Cleary just trying to be around that strike zone now.
Well, he's just throwing knuckleballs every pitch, just
Yep.
trying to get it close to the plate. Line shot picked off by
great
David
play.
Galino, flips to Brandon Horn and gets us out of this inning. Thank you, David Galino and Brandon Horn.
This business was opened in 1965 by my father, Ned Mattiosi. Could have walked in here 25, 30 years ago and seen just about the same thing. The process of making this suit takes about 6 weeks. It goes through about 12 or 13 hands as it's moved along the line. It's an old-time place. Making stuff from scratch here in the city at a reasonable cost. It's a very personal type of business.
Well, there you see Kuba Osichka, who's on in relief of Jack Besgrove. He'll look to get the final 3 outs in this one, and we'll move on to the nightcap. Changeup from Osichka. He's got a good one, Joe. He throws it a lot.
Yeah, his almost floats. I remember the first time I saw his, it just hardly any seam movement.
Tommy Anoka, David Galino, Ryan Boland, 3-4-5 for the Express. And I got to imagine, Joe, that is a bit of a dispirited bunch in the home dugout. But I'll tell you something else. They will remember this.
Oh, yes.
Ladislav Maller-Zook runs that down on the infield, but Eric Ochoa had given chase and was 27 feet from the bag. They weren't going to get Tommy Anoka anyway,
no.
But
good for Tommy to punch that ball, stay in this game.
high hop. Maller-Zook, once again, has nowhere to go with it. Off the glove of Ochoa, deflected it right to Maller-Zook, and he looked around and thought, well, I'll just put it in my back pocket and then hand it back to Kuba Osichka. David Galino. So a couple of runners aboard. Dallas Cornelius, who came in for Ryan Boland, will get the opportunity to get an at-bat. Cornelius down on strikes. Wayne Laulu will get his second at bat here this evening. Wayne, a gentle swing. High hopper on the infield. Evans will go to first for the sure out. Runners will move up to second and third. Ladislav Malerzuk and David Galino just chatting at second base. I don't see any ill will here, Joe, which I'm glad of.
Yep.
Tommy Anoka, Brian Avery, similar over at third base. And certainly don't want to make too much out of anything.
No.
But we'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
Tyler Pauli fouled one off. Can't catch up to the next one from Kuba Osichka. Pablo Migliavaca is just making his arm go around down in the bullpen. Swing and a miss. Down goes Pauli. That is mercifully the ball game. Folks, stay tuned. Coming up, Hill United Chiefs, Northeast Drillers, and what we can hope is an exceptional ball game, unlike this one. Marco Diaz, Huemo Mata, come back with us in about, let's call it 19 minutes. Let's say 8:30 Pacific time. Peter Labardius, myself, Joe Todd, Luciano Lafrano, Carol Dureste, Marvin Walcott. Thanks, everybody, for being with us. Come back in a few minutes for the nightcap.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas. Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more. The best quality live softball, on demand, so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now. SoftballPremierTV.com.